Hello, and welcome to a quick walkthrough of your Module 2 problem. The Module 2 problem is actually going to have a code word BE4.11. The numbers will differ each time you try the problem. You will get a new set of numbers. So it's important that you understand the formula that you will use in order to determine the answer to this question. Okay, so in this question, we are thinking about increasing direct materials costs. We see that last year's profit is 25,300. We sold 5,600 units at a selling price of $130. Our total fixed costs were 254,700. Now this year, this company expects our overall sales and variable cost per unit to increase by 5%. So with no other changes expected, how much is the company's income going to increase or decrease compared to last year as a result of these changes? So let's take a look at this formula to begin. Sales minus variable costs equals contribution margin minus our fixed costs equal our operating income. This is a review of your managerial accounting principles 202 class. So if you took this class with another college or university and you took it several years ago, you may need a little bit of review of these formulas in order to jump back into the groove of things. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's just put the numbers that we know into this formula. 5,600 units times $130 per unit minus our variable costs equals our contribution margin minus our fixed costs equal our operating income. So we just put those right into that formula. And then once we do that, we can calculate those numbers. So you can actually calculate that in Excel. You can put your formula in there. So this formula would be equal 5,600 times 130. Just put that in there and it'll calculate it for you. And then this is your given your fixed costs and your operating income. Now we have this 728,000 minus variable costs equal contribution margin minus our fixed costs equal our net income. So let's move right up a little bit and let's fill in our contribution margin because that's the next one that we're able to fill in. So let's take our 25,300, add our 254,700, and that's going to give us a contribution margin of 280,000. Okay, so now let's put this in our formula. And now we have a formula that looks like this. We have our 728,000 minus variable costs equal $280,000 contribution margin minus 254,700 fixed cost minus equals our operating income. Now let's calculate our original variable costs. Let's fill in the box. So let's fill in variable costs. So if we fill in our variable costs, we're going to say, okay, our 728,000 minus what number equals 280,000? 728 minus 280 equals 448,000. So here is our final numbers for our formula. I'm just going to highlight that for us so we remember that, okay? Now we have our original numbers. The problem asks us to increase both our sales volume and our variable cost per unit by 5%. So it says we're going to increase both our overall sales volume and variable cost per unit. So let's take a look at our overall. Oh, we don't know our variable cost per unit. Let's look at our variable cost per unit. So our variable cost is 448,000. Our number of units is 5,600. So let's take our total variable cost divided by our number of units to get $80. That's our original variable cost per unit. Now let's increase these numbers by 5%. So we increase our variable cost per unit by 5%. So $80 multiplied by 1.05, that's going to increase it by 5%. That's $84. Take our original sales volume of 5,600 units and multiply that by 1.05, and that's going to give us 5,880 units. That's our new number of units, right? Okay, so then let's go up here. Let's say 5,880 units times $130 is going to give us 764,400. Then 5,880 units times $84 is going to give us 493,920. That's our variable costs. Then we're going to get a new contribution margin of 271,480. We're going to subtract our fixed costs, and that's going to give us $15,780 in operating income. Now, what happened to our company's operating income? Well, our old operating income was $25,300. We subtract our new operating income of $15,780, and that's going to give us a decrease in operating income of $9,520. Now, notice that none of our numbers needed to be rounded, I don't think. I don't think any of our numbers, no, I do not think any of our numbers need to be rounded, but if they had needed to be rounded, we wanted to make sure to round them to 2 decimal places. Okay, I think this is a wrap on this one. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this helps you.